Hi guys, it's Neon, and welcome to my brand new YouTube channel. I'm gonna be posting a ton of content, hopefully. Don't hold me to that. You know how I am. You know how my schedule is if you come from my streams. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna have a content coming out. This channel is gonna be, clips from streams, things that I find funny. Me, Omega, and Lune have a ton of plans too. And then I'm also gonna have vlog content coming out soon, which I think is gonna be banger. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Um, so if you like any of that and you're interested in seeing more, leave a like, subscribe, all the jazz. But, today's video, I want to make a short little segment beforehand and a short little segment afterward. We played Frantic Fanfic. We take turns writing, like, beginning, middle, end. So I hope you enjoy reading our cursed fanfics, and I will see you at the end of the video.
It's called The Little Girl and Her Stuffed Animal. Winnie the Pooh was sitting next to a tree, wanting a honey when he looked over and saw his neighbor watering their flowers. Winnie got up and waddled his way to his neighbor. "Hello," he crooned. "First time?" The neighbor jumped at the sound of the voice and turned towards it. "First time? Watering plants?" Winnie gave a honey-like smile towards his neighbor and nodded.
You're sweet, Jace. Sorry, I'm lifting.
No, you're good. "I noticed the mud surrounding the roots are very moist. I think you're overwatering your buttes." "Oh, I didn't even notice. I was so distracted. Thank you," she says, lifting her water can, ending the stream hitting her plants. "Distracted? It's so peaceful in the 100-acre woods. What could possibly be on your mind in a place like this?" She furrowed her brows in thought, debating on if she wants to dump onto her new neighbor. "Well, you see, I moved here because I found out my husband was cheating on me, and I needed a change. And my poor kids are taking it hard. I'm hoping this will be good for both them and me," she finally decides to confide in her neighbor. "Oh, bother. Well, I'm terribly sorry to hear that," Pooh responded. Part 2 reacts. Oh, you can react!
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, you can react.
"I would never treat you like this, haha." Winnie scratches his head, biting his lip at her. She giggles, batting her eyelashes seductively. "Really?" She stops watering her plants and accidentally spills water on herself. "Oops, guess I should go inside and change. Say, Winnie, are you busy at the moment? I can make you some honey pie." Winnie jumps at the offer and stands up straight. He hums in agreement and rubs his big yellow tummy. As he does this, she trails her fingers up on the side of his head, her fingers playing with one of the bear's soft ears. Oh, fire.
God.
Fire.
Fire. Burn
Okay.
it. Arson.
Okay.
Now we hit react.
Mm-hmm. And now it's your turn, Loon.
Neon shifted uneasily in her seat. Okay, I didn't get to finish that, but I meant like the stairs in Minecraft. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to finish. Like you're in a table, like at a village. Neon shifted uneasily in her seat. The Iron Giant was staring at her anxiously, watching the axe in her hand swing from side to side against the floor. The giant thought to himself, "How could I love someone who constantly wants to kill me?" Neon blushed when the Iron Giant picked up a flower and visually hesitated. She wanted to kill him for his loot and save up for a chess piece, debating whether she should put the axe down and attack the giant. Oh, with kisses all over his cold iron body, or pelt him non-stop until he fell to his knees and surrendered the 3 possible iron ingots. The Iron Giant, damn, craved her fingers running through the vines that lusciously grew on his body. But the deadly tension between them was too much. He could kill her in an instant if he wasn't careful with her fragile body. Disgusted. "We can't," Neon cried out, already feeling the rise in her body. Whether it's from the urge to kill, or the urge to do something else she couldn't tell. The desire to explore the side of her has been luring in her mind. Lurking?
No, lurking, whatever. It's fine.
Okay, in her mind, but she won't take the first move. The Iron Giant moved closer to Neon, wanting to give the flower to Neon to show his appreciation towards her. He would see her at the village she protected. He sees her with all her might, killing the mobs and protecting the people he was built to protect. Trading with the villagers would often speak highly of her. Raid after raid, Neon would demolish her foes, and he loved every second. Neon never spared a glance toward the lumbering metal pile. She was already planning to gain a few ingots from him, but the way the giant would lumber after her shyly looked towards her.
I'm being it finished.
My gosh. The giant finally decided. He leaned in, pulling out the flower. A blush grew across Neon's face, followed by a pang of guilt knowing what she was about to do. She leaned in to whisper into the giant's ear. I feel the same way, which makes this so much harder than it was supposed to be. Neon hits the giant with her axe, tears stinging her eyes and guilt filling her body. The giant didn't even hit back, knowing the choice she made. She hits again and again until the iron makes a final crack. Y'all are heartless. Whoever did this, you're sick.
I'm
You're
so
going to
sorry.
jail. The giant cracks. I knew it was you! The giant cracks and puffs from existence, only leaving behind a single oxide daisy.
Thank you for the follow.
Neon fall.
Sorry.
Oh. Neon falls to her knees, realizing what she did as a tear escapes her body, and she whispers to the flower in.
It was supposed to say she whispers to the flower. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
So sorry. There should be a crying emoji. We gotta add a crying emoji. So like, oh, it's so sad.
He's ready for Percy Jackson and the fateful fall night.
Yes.
Okay. It was a brisk fall night in the New York City streets. Percy had just got back to his mother's home from camp and was ready to relax after a summer full of training. His mother knocks on the door, raising her voice so her son could hear. Percy, there's someone at the door for you. Percy hops up and staggers toward the door. Who is it? He asks. Why don't you see for yourself? He gets in response. Percy walks out and sees no. Could it be?
I just found Ludo make spinning. I'll send the
Obama?
pictures in Discord later.
Obama grinned, showing off his pearly white teeth. Hey, Percy.
Is Gollum right behind you? Ew.
I didn't think I'd find you. Percy had just spent a whole summer with Obama, but sadly, they went separate ways after they got back and forgot to give each other their number. Percy blushes and invites him in. Obama smiles and follows him. You know, I've been thinking about you all day. I mean, Obama pauses, looking deep into Percy's eyes. Ever since I saw your feet, I've been going crazy. Percy, please let me look at them once more. Percy was
Distraught.
Percy was distraught. Feet pics? What? How did the President of the United States manage to see his feet? Nonetheless, wanting to see it again, he could feel the sole of his feet tingle. Oh, he felt the shivers down the spine. He felt a need.
A need.
It's not like every day the President of the United States wanting to see your feet. How far will this man go? How much? Obama's eyes grew wide. Name your price. Any number? Obama nodded his head. Name your price. I will do anything. You don't know how long I was deprived of your feet. Percy looked back at his mom in the kitchen, making her famous 7-layer dip, humming a tune, hoping she didn't get a whiff of the conversation that was being played at her door. He looked back at Obama, looking at him, eager to get a sight of his 5-toed feet. Tonight, meet me at the Hudson River. I'll get you the goods. From there, I will name the price. Obama, no!
This is not where I thought this fic was gonna go.
Oh my god. Why did Obama show up at Percy Jackson's house trying to see feet pics?
Because it's not free.
It's not free.
Damn,
why
you
was
gotta pay.
Obama at Half-Blood Camp? Oh, I get to read first. Omega's final
nights.
Omega had finally decided to check out the abandoned pizza shop near their house because they wanted to see if all the rumors were true. They saw all the conspiracy videos about the missing children and how they linked to the pizza shop. Grabbing their flashlight, they opened the door with a loud creak. Well, this surely doesn't look like a happy party place, they muttered to themselves, while taking slow steps into the main area of the building.
They wander around until they find the security office. They push the door open, frantically trying to get somewhere in the building that didn't give them the creeps. They pull the string above their head, clicking the light on. To Omega's surprise, it was pretty clean in there, other than some crumpled up paper and soda cups. They sit down and for some reason feels the urge to look down at the cameras. She spots a dark figure in the distance, but was startled when the phone started ringing. Omega picks up the phone but hears nothing but gurgling and muttering. Hanging up, they look back at the camera to see... No, it can't be. The infamous Freddy Fazbear with his face in the camera. She rushes to close the doors, but they lock themselves and the button now no longer works. Nervously, Omega looks down the hallway after hearing a strange noise and she gasps. There, Freddy was wearing nothing but a bright orange thong. "Are you afraid of me, kitten?" He mumbles in a deep baritone voice. Omega shivers with delight.
Disgusted.
Omega, liking the chase, rushed down the hallway feeling giddy. Faz let out a chuckle at the sprinting being in front of him, liking the view. "I hate to see you leave, but I love to see you go," and started to stalk towards them. Omega resisted the urge to wiggle the view in front of him and took a sharp left towards the area where Foxy laid. She contemplated where she could hide, not wanting their fun to end. Foxy peeped his little head from the curtains and beckoned Omega to jump into his little cove. Omega gave a grateful sigh and rushed over. It didn't seem to dawn on Omega that she would trust so easily these scraps of metal in a building he had never been in. But like a sixth sense in the area seemed so familiar. Foxy held Omega in their arms, cooning them as Faz's shadow loomed over them. "Are you lost, baby girl?"
Ew.
Omega mewed.
Please don't do this.
Ew. Omega mewed.
I did.
Omega. Foxy hushed her, not wanting to give away their position, and looked at the attire Fazbear was rocking. Foxy growled in terror, not wanting to see his old friend in such horrendous bright colors. Why be with him when you could be with me?
Isn't Otome?
Oh.
Oh,
Okay,
damn.
go Lune. I
Okay.
told you, I got in the zone. I was given a challenge. I'll tell Lune
This
about the
one-
challenge after.
I wasn't sure how to do it, but okay.
Ugh.
I can't. Dean carried the piece of toast with him everywhere. On his shoulder, in his pocket, in his Chevrolet Impala. The toast's eyes were always wide with amazement, looking at the world around them. They were tired of living in a tight, cooped-up bread bag. Ever since Dean warmed them up in the toaster, they haven't known peace since. Now, Toast finds peace in Dean's arms. But because of all the moisture, Toast was growing moldy.
Oops, there's a plot hole. Sorry, just keep reading.
Okay. Okay. Dean didn't pay no attention to the toast in his pocket. Didn't even hear the silent whimpers as the toast started to turn colors, the age showing increasingly fast. "Hey buddy, look at this cool deal on a bread box. This place will def be comfy for you. Should I cop?" Should I cop? Dean does not talk like that. The piece of toast's eye said nothing. "Buddy?" Dean let out a cry as he looked over in his pocket and the stench hit his nose so fast. "Oh God!" he cried as he fumbled for his pocket, gingerly held toast with...
Gingerly holding the toast with the eyes.
With eyes. What have I done? The toast with eyes held no mouth. It couldn't utter their last words to the man that hovered before them. He couldn't manage to escape his love and gratitude for the man that didn't put him in a toaster to burn him to a crisp.
That's the follow.
Or didn't put him in the fridge and have his crust furious 10 times over. He sat comfortably in his pocket with his gifted eyes, saw the worlds. "I should have taken care of you, buddy." My throat hurts. Stop the whimpers. It's being read so quietly. I am trying so hard not to scream. I promise I'm more chaotic than this, but reading like this is hurting my throat.
Oh no.
It's 'cause if my walls weren't made out of cardboard, I could be louder. Suddenly, Dean had an idea. Buddy, we have had a good run, but I know how to make this better. Dean remembered something Sam went on about when he first got back for school. He started babysitting and headed to the store buying yeast, jars, and milk. He said, I'll see you soon to his buddy, and put the little bread in the jar. He filled it with yeast and milk, turning him into a sourdough starter, so when the bread gets bad, he can just make more. Weeks and weeks pass of him feeding the starter until it was finally ready. He takes the starter and makes it into a big loaf of bread, which he puts into his brand new bread box. He slices a piece and puts the rest in the freezer, noticing that it's empty. He yells across the bunker and Sam, Where's the pie? He's met with no response, knowing he will beat Sam about this later, but goes back to the task on hand. He takes the slice and notices the eyes in fact reappeared on his buddy. Long time no see, pal.
I just want to say, so I told Omega, but I'm gonna tell you, Lune. Jellybird was in my chat while I was writing and said that if I somehow figure out a way to put "Where's the pie," that they would crown me a writing god, right? I had 2 minutes. I had 2 minutes left, and I pulled that out of my ass.
Your asshole was enlarged and it came sliding right out.
Please, never say that sentence again. Okay, your turn, Omega.
Boom crab meat. That's the title that I made.
That's so good.
Okay. Mr. Krabs and the Creeper stood 6 feet apart, trudging down the cave, flashlights in hand. Arg! Why do we have to be here this late at night? Mr. Krabs grumbled, his eyes shifting from one side of the room to the other. The Creeper stayed silent, only looking ahead, keeping a watchful eye on the path in front of him. This unlikely pair is a duo of ghost hunters. The Keeper got a call a couple hours back about a strange appearance and sounds coming from a cave behind someone's house. Without saying a word to Mr. Krabs, the Keeper packed up their equipment and headed out to their location. Mr. Krabs seemed a little pissed about the sudden rush. I don't know. I meant to put. He's a little pissed about the sudden rush, but was concerned about the Creeper's sudden quietness. I was trying to put that really quick, but I ran out of time. Anyways,
I love Mr. Krabs. We do too. Oh no.
The Keeper apologized, trying not to blow up using what he learned in his anger management class. So the family said that they keep hearing weird noises at night, breathing heavily, explaining the situation to his best friend and co-worker. They trudged through the cave a bit more when Mr. Krabs raised his voice. Would you stop grabbing my claw? It's not that scary. The Keeper looked shocked. I'm not grabbing your claw. They both turned around, their faces ghostly white. Frantically, they started pulling their ghost hunting gear from their bags and set up the gear. They start with the spirit box. The Keeper turns it on with a loud emitting from the device. Mr. Krabs started speaking first. Is there anybody present right now? It was quiet at first, before an unnatural sounding voice spoke up. Maybe. Who wants to know? The voice came from a spirit box. Mr. Krabs grew angrily at this. The ghost was going to have attitude now. Arg, listen here, boyo. You gotta leave this place whether you like it or not. Cooper grew nervous when he did this. He had only seen this side of Krabs a few times, and it never ended well. Krabs stood up, now irritated that he was forced into this dark and musty cave in the middle of the night. Musty! Creeper tried to calm him, but the spirit box spoke up again. What if I don't want to? Then what will you do? Krabs kicked the box, and the Creeper gasped, Stop, Krabs! Then the ghost came out of the walls and pinched Creeper and exploded, and they all died. What happened? They all died.
Oh my god. Lune, you're up
I'm
first.
allergic.
An inky situation.
I don't want to do this.
I'm very excited.
I cope with humor. Same. Okay. Lance
Oh,
entered.
I was the ending for this one. Oh, I hate this.
Oh no.
My ending's so
Lance,
bad.
Lance entered the space station quietly with Bendy hot on his tail. Bendy, you're making a mess. Lance quietly ushers Bendy into the hallway and urges him to go clean himself up. Lance and Bendy were at a party at the nearby planet when Bendy started having too many drinks and began oozing ink everywhere. I hiccuped. Lance sighs after finishing cleaning up the puddle of ink Bendy had spit onto the floor. When he was finished, Lance went to see if Bendy was okay, but found him in the bathroom smooching with Shiro. Shiro, what the hell? And that was it. Lance was so angry with Bendy and Shiro. He can't fathom how this could happen. Ever since Bendy and Lance got together, Shiro hated Bendy. It was constant arguing. Ooh, twist. It was constant arguing and Shiro constantly telling Lance to break it off. Upset, he finished cleaning the hallway and went to go talk to Pidge. I just want him back, Pidge. I just don't understand how this happened. Ever since I was
Saw, that's supposed to say saw.
no, it's what's coming next. Ever since I saw Bendy shaking his ass on the Inkling planet, I knew it was meant to be after a year. I just can't understand. Lance decided to head to his room and sleep it off. He wanted to have a conversation with both of them in the morning. 2 hours later, he was woken by banging outside his door. He tiredly got up and opened the door to see Bendy tear-stained in Lance's jacket. What do you want? Lance snarled at Bendy, being sick at the sight of him after what he witnessed. Oh, this is a lot. I'm sorry, stop. I wish I could. I'm sorry. Bendy tried to let out as Lance walked away from the door. Sorry for what? Lance snapped at him. I'm so sorry for what happened at the party. Bendy went inside the room, closing the door behind him. I didn't realize I went over my limit and... Horse!
Sorry,
Crap.
when I write curses, I always opt like the letters for some reason. I don't know why, but it's a habit.
Oh, we cannot swear there's babies. Okay. Horse crap. Lance spat at him, already growing tired of the conversation. I try to stop you, and then I see you all over Shiro. Are you effing kidding me, Bendy? Shiro, out of all people? Bendy stood there silently, letting all the shame wash over him. He thought Shiro was Lance in his drunken haze. He tried to find Lance, and the first people he saw, his eyes glazed over, and all he could think of is Lance. So he kissed the man, thinking it was Lance. Lance. Bendy started. Don't. Lance cut it in. I want you and I want all your stuff gone. I'm sick and tired of the repeating mistakes. I'm sick and tired of the lies. And I'm sick and tired of being hurt by you, he yelled. Bendy stood there in shock, not realizing the severity of the limit Lance went through. But baby, go. Lance grabbed a random bag in their closet and shoved it towards Bendy. He was done. And take your stupid bacon soup with you. Effing disgusting.
And that's it.
Oh my god. Why did this turn into an angst fic? Why not?
Baby. Oh my gosh, gross. Yes.
Everybody was
I'll
kung fu fighting except for Sid.
I couldn't think of a title.
No, it's so good.
Okay.
He's either silent in disappointment or has left in distraught. Probably both.
You're saying
Okay.
this isn't what the game was meant for?
Did I start? Okay. If you want to be the next dragon warrior, then you need to focus, Poe sighed as he set down the bamboo stick, watching the small child in front of him, gazing his eyes back at the panda. The baby gurgled a little giggle, making grabbing hands at the animal before him. Poe let out a smile, his frustration seeping out of him as he reached and held the child in his arms. Okay, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. You're a bit too young to become my replacement, but you couldn't start too early. He couldn't help see the parallels of how his life began with his dad and how the child started his life with him. Finding him in a box filled with veggies, his heart ached thinking of how alone and cold the child must have felt, with only a name tag attached to the boy, the only form of ownership. Sid. Sid giggles before his eyes went wide and he turned his head to face the direction of the village. A cold breeze blew by, and Poe felt it, going weary. Sid, although being a baby,
like this.
had an amazing talent for sensing when something isn't right. Poe put Sid on his back and then rushed down to the village to see a group of raiders ambushing the village. Poe gasped and looked around before he finally saw it. Planted in the center of the village. No, you're good. In an enclosed glass case, the last dandelion. Sid whimpered and held on tight to Poe as he watched the attackers run towards the dandelion. Poe knew he had to do something, so he hid Sid in some bushes and ran towards them. Poe pulled out his weapon, making quick work to the enemies at hand. After all, the fighting was over. He ran back to find Sid to make sure he was okay. When he made it back to the bush, he noticed Sid was gone in place of a small handwritten note. His stomach dropped at the sight. As panic set in, he picked up the note, reading frantically to himself, "My dearest Poe, I know before to get back at you My dearest Poe, I know before to get back at you, all I had to do was offer food or take food, but now you have something valuable you care about. Something infinite? Infinite? If you want your child back, come to this location, 3065 86 99A. Poe hurriedly ran to the coordinates left on the note to see his long-lasting enemy holding poor baby Sid by the neck. Fear filled Poe's eyes. Give me back, Sid. Not until you give me what I want, his enemy responded. Poe sighed, knowing exactly what he wanted. But all Poe was his son figure back without harm. Poe sighed. Here, take it. Poe handed all over the location of all the best fighters in the area. His son was returned safe, and they fled where he couldn't be harmed again. What a good ending. What a good ending.
Oh my gosh.
I've never
Omega.
seen either movies, and I was genuinely
I could tell.
Intrigued.
But it's such a beautiful ending. You know what? It's better than what any of the movies could have done.
Are we ready for Mommy Milkers and the Stinky Feet?
Yes.
Okay. Grandpa had always had big Mommy Milkers, and nobody knew why. But to be frank, it was kinda hot. Oh, shut up, Micah. You don't have to pay me back for boba. That was until he danced the tango with a serious case of foot fungus. He refused to get rid of it no matter what, and nobody knew why, sadly, except for me. Grandpa loved the toe fungus because it loved him for him and not his huge knockers. He had a hard time bending over to see it with his huge bazongers, but I caught him a few times whispering sweet nothings to his feet, which was unsettling to say the least, but he was happy and that's all that mattered. I walked over to my grandpa curious how the connection blossomed between the fungus and my grandpa. Grandpa, I asked quietly, will you ever get rid of it? He let out a giant grunt of displeasure. What you said, little boy? His milker's jerking around in front of my face. I averted my eyes out of respect of my grandpa. I asked if he would ever cure your fungus, already regretting asking. I could see my grandpa's face turn red. How could you ever ask that, me boy? He growled. Have you learned nothing? His body shook, his milk juggling around with him. The vibrations setting off the floor. I feared if an earthquake would erupt by just one tit alone. I'm so sorry, my Nightbot timed you out. I don't know, it just happened. I don't know what the accent is. No, I muttered, not wanting to upset more. I didn't mean no harm, it was just a question. My grandpa got up from his seat as I prepared myself to get launched by hit tatas, as he often did to his grandkids when they unsettled him. But the fungus whispered. The fungus! Oh my god.
Leave the child alone. They don't know any better. They don't understand the love I have for you. Let's go somewhere else.
Grandpa settled down and agreed.
He walked out of the house onto the porch. I sigh, feeling a little disgusted. Who was I to judge? Outside, Grandpa sat in the field and whispered to his little fungus-filled toes.
Don't listen to them. They want me to get rid of ya, but I would never do that.
A single tear came out of his left nip.
His left nip.
Grandpa, come closer.
Toe Fungus whispers.
I can't. My milks are too big.
Toe Fungus laughs at this.
You can. Trust me. Spread them and come closer. I need to tell you something.
Grandpa spreads them and leans in, finally getting close enough to hear the fungus and see him up close.
Grandpa, I love you.
Well,
Oh my god.
The story's over. The voice will stop, I promise.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
That was iconic.
you find them so fast.
Oh my god.
Hi, I'm back! I really hope you enjoyed that video. It was so funny. I was crying laughing the entire time. Me and the Iron Golem could just never be. But I really hope you enjoyed. Like I said in the beginning, if you like the content, like, subscribe, click the buttons. Click them all. But yeah, new content coming out soon. Just want to check in again. So yeah, that's about it for today. But I really hope you enjoyed everything, and I will see you next time. Bye.